Hello, hey everyone. Welcome to our out of the box developer. Great to have everyone here. This week. It's a special week, right? We are Java is turning 30, and and already 30, and um, I just remembered that yesterday I was in the event, and I forgot to mention this important information during the whole event. I talked about 25 years of JCP and forgot to talk about 30 years of Java. I was my head was full, but yep. And today we do want to talk about challenges. And so anyone that is, if you are watching us and uh, you have a chat nearby, please um, share here. What these 30 years of Java, I know I probably you had been a lot of challenges, lots of things, lots of history stories or history to talk about, and we would like to hear a bit about your experiences and your challenges, and make a discussion regarding to this the whole ecosystem that Java developed. But before entering that, please start sharing your story. While I do say hello to everyone here, I'm happy to say hello to Luis. Hey, Luis, how are you, man?
Hello, Hugo. I'm fine. Uh, Yesterday we were together in the Java meetup, in-person meetup here in São Paulo. So it was an awesome event. And again, Java is something that are in our lives since I don't know. I'm using since version 5. Probably you will talk about your history here. But yes, I had lots of challenges, different challenges, lots of things evolved really well. And I think the language is aging very well. So I saw that Andres already told his biggest challenge in the chat. So today's goal is to talk about your biggest challenges. So do the same as Andres and bring here to us your biggest challenge so we can discuss. Yes.
That's great. I'm happy to see that Andres already shared it. And of course, we are not the person that will have the absolute trust or any methodology that is silver bullet here. It is probably lots of us have lots of similar stories, similar challenges. I think it is more to help each other, right? And share a bit about our own stories here with you, with everyone. And well, let me just continue here with Chila. Hey, Chila, how are you?
Hey, Hugo. I'm fine, thank you. And good evening, everyone. Maybe good evening, good night, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. So I'm looking forward to today's conversation to hear about your challenges with Java. So I think it will be a very interesting conversation today because 30 years of Java, you had challenges in the past, and most probably you have different challenges right now. At least I am experiencing this a bit. So I have for sure different challenges right now than I used to have with Java. So
Since I got curious, I think interesting thing that Luis mentioned it. Since he mentioned the version he started, do you remember which version you started using Java, Chila?
I would rather not tell you it's a very early version.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know that was a sensitive information.
But I also started with applets,
Oh,
and tried
oh,
to
yeah.
write applets, and that was not the technology that I would use today. because it was a very interesting experience. It was quite slow, and there were some security concerns about it. So later
Heavy,
we gave it up.
Heavy.
But
way heavy.
was a very interesting time. Yes.
Cool, cool. And yeah, so I'm just going. But Igor, since you started talking as well, hello, man. Good to have you here. So
Hi, you go. Hi, everyone. Yeah, let's celebrate the 30 years of Java. As far as I remember, I'm part of half of it. Been programming with Java around 15 years. The version that I was aiming when I was starting with Java was 1.7, would be the 7 before strings, before the revolution of Java 8. But when you go to banking, here you have our awesome Java 1.4. I
wow,
believe it was on. I will not mention any banks. Maybe I don't know if we can say that, but it's one of the biggest banks in Latin America. I've been across often, so they use of these applets that Sila mentioned. They tend to use a lot in the past, especially when you were using your banking online, you need to download that applet, otherwise it won't work. But I have a special place in my heart for Java for a very long time. I've been working with that for several years. And there are lots of challenges, and it's awesome to see how the language is evolving, is introducing new paradigms, functional programming, bringing new frameworks into it, and challenge we all have. It's impossible not to have. I would not say especially with the language, but how the market evolves, how architecture changes. Andres mentioned about microservice is more likely an architecture challenge instead of a language challenge. But it's great to see the evolution of Java specifically, because it was being behind Python, behind Kotlin. So no more jokes about Java is slow, Java doesn't do that, Java is slow. No, not at all. It's awesome to see this evolution of this language. That I really like it. I really like it. It's great to know about others, but it's strong. It's heavily implemented worldwide, and if it's evolving, even better. That's what I have to say for now. Let's just start the conversation about Java.
that's awesome. Uh, so you said that you started on 1.7, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
I started. That was my goal back then.
Uh-huh.
But when you enter on the finance sector,
You
they
find.
just told, "Oh, great, you know about Java 7. So we have Java 4 here. Please make it work." So
Oh yeah.
four work with 4 with the 5. I
Wow.
don't remember the 6. I believe we jumped that, but truly for the biggest revolution that I can remember on Java, not counting these last years, was when the Java 8 was released. The streams, the functional program that really changed the game, because Java was very, very stopped in time before that. And after that, we started to see a lot of changes, a great changes. When I believe it was when Oracle got it from Sun. I don't know what exactly changed that, but we started to see more cycles and versions of Java bringing to new resources.
Uh, yeah, that's amazing. I also seen here a lot of people sharing. It's interesting to see that Pedro is with here with us here. Hey
Hey,
Pedro,
Pedro.
good to see you on the chat. Who else? Jose Quintino, good afternoon. Great. Samuel is here as well. Samuel was with us yesterday, right? Samuel, good to have you here.
Hi, Samuka.
And Pedro started on Java 1.3, Andres 1.2. Uh,
Oh, Jesus.
oh, we have Luis. It's on the chat here. So.
Hey, Luis. Good to see you.
Hello. That's amazing. That's amazing. So yeah, do with as Andres and Pedro, if you can share with us what which version you started this the whole story with Java. It's interesting. And let me say hello to Thiago. Hey Thiago,
Hello
how are you, man?
everyone.
Hi, Java.
Yeah, Andres shared here that his biggest challenge is microservice, and we all have some challenge with programming. I think this is very common, and I think nowadays create microservice it's very easier if you compare with like 10 years ago, where we have .war files, JBoss,
Oh, Jesus. I'm leaving
WebLogic,
the room.
these
If you
kind of
continue,
things.
don't tell about war. We're going to start a war here.
Yeah. Nowadays it's much easier. We can, of course, talk about your challenge that you're having, Andres, and try to help you because, again, nowadays it's much easier. And I think I was lucky. I started with, I'm not sure if I started with 1.7. I work just few time with 1.7. So most of the time was with 1.8. So I start like with 1.8. Unfortunately, I had to work in a project using I think 1.4 maybe.
Oh, Jesus. Like
Yeah,
me.
it was not very cool, but it's like the small change because no one wants to change this kind of system because it's too legacy. No one knows how it works. It was a chaos. Yeah, legacy projects.
Yeah,
I
we
think
know.
everyone knows. I think this is a big challenge.
Is that kind of project that you take more time to find where to change instead of the real change itself?
Yes, yeah, this is this kind of project. Yeah.
That's a nightmare.
Cool, cool. Yeah, by the way, I think I started with Java 1.4. And I'm actually I was trying to download my first code, profession not professional, but something with some relevant project. It was during the university, so that was the first moment I started with some deliver something with Java. I think it was 1.4 or 6. I think it was 4. And it was the first open source also, and I think I didn't know that open source concept at the moment. So yeah, that's a lot of stories we have here to share. Let me see. Pedro mentioned about Java 5. I see. Oh, Gabriel Nardes also say hello. Hello, Gabriel. Uh,
Hey.
Andres. How back then I thought it was more of an academic curiosity. Okay. uh, enterprise archives files.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
year.
true. Don't see for a long time already. Yeah, it's not that difficult. It's that I don't like the kind of code that one have to write for them. As you imagine, I'm quite old school. Yeah, true. That's true. Hey, Leandro, good to have you here. Okay, so how we can start here? I think Andres already made a interesting point because we mentioned it on the title to help on challenges regarding to moving from uh, the more from some point of development, more legacy environment to a modern one. Because nowadays, I think we can pretty much agree that evolved a lot. I also was very surprised how many syntax sugar we have now with Java, and how it's a pleasure to write. It's quite productive. I feel even compared with other languages that people themselves define as way more productive, simple to understand, and so on. Um, and other thing that I feel very, yeah, it. I don't know if it's only me, but I feel very comfortable nowadays. I think it's so easy to write, a great ecosystem, and all the ecosystem also evolving and not being staying behind. So the majority of frameworks that are most used frameworks around the world, they also uh, 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 evolve it together with the features, with the language itself. So, how can we start with this discussion about microservices, and we how is the experience for everyone here about this topic?
I believe that's what you just mentioned, Hugo. Since Java is so mature and it has very mature frameworks like Spring, even Quarkus is getting at a very mature level. This is what makes it really productive, is not only the language itself. We could look at Lombok, for example. There were people that were just complaining, Java is too verbose, you need to write constructors, getters and setters, but they come up with Lombok. There are people that don't like it until today, but you cannot say that it does not help a lot and eliminates a lot of that boilerplate code, and it works. It generates behind the wheel during build, no problem. In your code base you will not have all of those huge lists of getters and setters, constructors, builders, equals hash code, and blah blah blah. Everything that Lombok can provide, it helps, and that's just a small library. You can look at the whole family within Spring. You have from creating batches to microservice we just mentioned, with REST or SOAP, until AI, that is the hot topic right now that everyone is seeking. So if you're a Java developer, especially in this AI age, that everyone was standing, oh, Java is death for AI. Not anymore. You have it on Spring, you have it on Quarkus too. You have all of these plugged frameworks that makes it more alive than ever. And I do believe that is very productive in the same way you just feel about it, Hugo.
That's cool. And I just remember when just to I will mention first this just to not forget later, but I just remember when we go with microservices, at least for me, a very present situation, a common situation, it is we did when Elder Moraes, I watched a short video from Elder Moraes when he mentioned it. That's where I believe it's very true. That is, microservices is to scale your team and not to scale your application, right? So, and I see so many people trying to implement microservices. And when you see the squad, it was a single squad and trying to make a lot of microservices. And why you don't even deploy this thing separately? You know, so that was a very interesting. I think it was reproduced it was hyped, and I understand that a lot of teams also because I was in consulting as well, so the customer itself are asking for, oh, you have to implement microservices, otherwise it's old, it's legacy, and so on, and missing the points, right? So I think that's very common as well, right? Not just the technology itself, but wrong a context to apply the architecture, right?
Yeah, that's the word. The wrong architecture.
Yeah,
Instead of creating microservices to serve a specific domain that a squad will take care, they started creating nano service too smaller that does not need it to be. There's the balance between a monolith and a nano service that should be the microservice, and that's for what an architect should be present to have this definition of the domain and what should be a microservice for a solution, right? And I did see that a lot too, Hugo.
yeah. I want to
and
ask
and,
here. Oh,
and
go. Sorry, Jack. Just to ask here, and then I'll pass to you. But I want to ask here if anyone that is watching us, if you have any story with microservices, or you have any specific challenges regarding to microservices, it will be interesting to drop here so we can continue the discussion. But yeah, go ahead, Thiago.
yeah, and also, Andres, if you can share here, what is the biggest challenge related with microservice, or what is your uh, the things that you complain about it? What is your difficulty? What is things that, yeah, you complain about microservice? Please share here, because it's like my friend share here. It's the trade-offs. So yes, Microsoft is good in some case, but it's really bad in other case. If you have thousands of microservices and you have a small team, or if you do not have a well-defined pipeline, these kind of things, you are going to have the hell. It will not be cool stuff. And also Spring released the Modulate, right? That it's kind of a merge of uh, Spring microservice and monolithic. So you have a modulate, that it's kind of a modular application, that it's small but not too small, and it's not also a single monolithic. So you have like small separated domains or packages or this kind of components. And yeah, it helps a lot to solve some of the challenges that there is regarding to microservices.
Cool.
Yeah,
Do you want to mention
absolutely.
something, Luis or Chila? I was.
Tila, we can't hear you.
Sorry. So I was at a Chuck meeting a few weeks ago, and that was exactly the topic. That there were people from their own experience. They were working for insurance company or banking. I don't remember. But the situation was that supplier, they made a big, huge application with a lot of microservices, and those microservices were not that isolated, so they had dependencies between each other, and it was so complicated that no one understood how it is working, and if you change something here, what is changed somewhere else. So they just did not have the overview, and the decision after a time was just forget microservices. So they migrated back the whole application from microservices towards a modular structure, so that it is more maintainable for them. And it was really a painful process how they described what they did everything one step after the other. So it is not that trivial thing. So right now you can see this direction as well. So coming from microservices and doing modulit, for example, instead. So
Yeah, I believe they had kind of lasagna codes, right? They were on top of each other, And when you remove one or change the other, the one that is depending on this falls down. That's a architecture problem that needs to be
Yes.
addressed even before the start of the any coding. And that's pretty clear that they didn't do it, and so that's why architecture thinks pretty well before putting your hand on code. It's essential to avoid these huge nightmares. This is a nightmare. I can't imagine this.
Maintenance issue later.
Oh Jesus, don't mention it. And if you bring it to AI, it will generate more bugs, even more bugs.
We have some messages from Andres explaining his situation, and he's saying that the kind of code is not that is a bad solution. It's not just not the kind of project that he likes. And his last message: right now, I'm working for a big company, lots of microservices that derived from an old monolith, which far too many interdependencies.
Hmm.
It was my first meeting with microservices and Spring Boot. And
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the cancer. When you have these interdependencies, that's an issue.
Yeah, and I can say that at least, and everyone, you can share your experiences here. Uh, but most of the cases, I see the migration from a existing monolith through to microservices. Usually, it's people try to follow the same separations we have on the services level, on the services layer, and or the entities on the database, and doesn't have so much clear the domain or the whole, how the whole things can uh, connect and depends on each other, and to reduce these dependencies. So and that always leads to some, instead of doing I think everyone has seen before that uh, a picture of a big uh, shit, and we have a picture of a lot of small shits. They are all together connected, and doesn't solve the problem itself. And usually there are a wrong motivation, right? I see a lot of people that made this movement because of scalability and performance. And if I do microservices, I can scale separately this thing that will be that will have more resource, while the others I keep as the same. But they don't usually don't do the review of the how it is implemented, and maybe there's not in most of the case there was not the infrastructure thing that was the problem. It was the whole idea, the implementation itself, and then we end up paying a high cost with the for something that doesn't have the expected results, right? At least I have seen some of these some of these cases. I don't know if you also had these
There,
similar experiences.
there's also the hype problem, right,
Yeah,
Hugo?
high problem.
There's most of the times there is not a clarity of which problem we're trying to solve or which goals we are trying to accomplish. So let's just do what all other companies are doing because this will make your profitable or make that thing getting visibility because they change monolith to 1,000 microservice and they don't care about the costs if that's going to be maintainable. They just following the hype, and that's
Yeah.
again a huge mistake in architecturing.
And I believe that looking around and see what others are doing, it's a great thing to do. But
Yeah,
the problem is that if you compare with some very different resources, or some company that has very different resources, like, oh, I have a small company with some a bunch of developers here, and I want to be the Google for that they adopt this practice. So that's something that will lead to a very different outcome, maybe. So I think also, yeah, as you said, hype driven, you end up doing some bad decisions.
Yeah,
Let's implement our libraries that Netflix just release. Doesn't matter if we just sell breads. Let's implement it because Netflix just released it. Makes no sense. There's a solution for each case. Go ahead, Diego.
yeah. Just bringing what Andra shared here. So maybe in his case, the problem was not what type of architecture. This is not the problem that he has now.
Mhm.
Maybe as he shared here, if you work, for example, for a project, a custom project, a closed project, probably you have much more challenge regarding to code and cool stuff that we like. Probably have that kind of things that usually we do not have in microservice. Unfortunately, this is what happened in most of the case. Of course, there will be some small, actually some bigger microservices, some Microsoft that they are more challenged. This will happen. So maybe Andres, you can try to find this kind of Microsoft that they are bigger or some aggregator. Maybe you have some aggregators. I don't know how the cause works. And probably if you're looking for big challenge, because I do agree with you, usually microservices are like easier. It's okay, I only need to do a REST call or consume from a topic or do some kind of that. It's like one operation, two operations. It's something that it's not too big. Usually it's small things. So if you are trying to figure out some challenge, there are some challenges regarding to microservices, but they are different. Usually are related with the architecture. So how they communicate with each other, and because you have many microservices communicating with each other, you have different approach. Like okay, let's use HTTP call. So you have problems regarding to that. Like okay, and the resilience. What happen if some microservices start having a big delay or it's out? What happened? So it we start broken other microservices. How you can deal with that? The trace, these kind of things. This is one of the big challenge. Pipeline, it's another one. So you need to understand very well how to define a very good pipeline. Because if you have one monolith, one application, okay, it's only one. If something breaks, okay, you have only one. If you have 1,000, you probably will want to have 1,000 of small pieces working properly and have well-defined log. You have a good code, a good check style, and this kind of things. So it's a different challenge. Okay, I don't know
Yeah,
if anyone wants to
I
share.
would like to highlight above your comments, Tiago. Imagine that you have 1,000 microservice. That's kind of a nightmare. Let's say 10 microservice. It would be a complex architecture, and something is not working, and you need to figure out if you don't have implemented in that system a good observability to track, to see the trace and logs where it's failing, you're lost. You will be mad because you have absolutely no idea where the transaction or the call is failing. So that's one of the complexities of microservice distributed systems. You need to have proper tracing, observability, and metrics implemented to see where the bottleneck is, where it's failing, and a centralized place where all these 10 service sends its trace data, its logs, and you have Sumo Logic, you have Spark, you have lots of tools for corporated systems like this. So this is another big challenge, but sometimes, and that's also a part of the team, as also software engineers, also software architectures, to make the companies, especially smaller companies, see that observability is not a cost, is a must. A cost is if your system stops and the company stops profiting because there's a bug or a problem in the system. And so managers need to have a clear picture that monitoring, observability are as much as important as having a platform itself selling. That's what I would like to add.
I see a lot of message
Yeah,
here already. Yeah. Just say quick hello here to Douglas. Hey Douglas. He mentioned it. Hello, Luis and Hugo.
he
Uh,
was with us yesterday as well.
oh, cool.
Yes.
And we have Antonio Marcos from Belo Horizonte. Great to have you here. Simandri from Simandri sent a longer message here. Hello, Simandri. Nathan Lopes and Nelson Oliveira from Araraquara. Great to have you here. And yeah, we are sharing here some of the challenges, and we are talking about microservices. Andres mentioned that some of the things that he was not too happy with, right? Right, Andres. It's not that you feel difficult, but it's not the something and that would be you would like so much. Um, but yeah, if you have any other questions, it will be interesting to talk about here. I think spot, talking about hypes, I see a lot of things like similar things, not just microservices. I think I don't know if right after or right before we had some hype regarding to NoSQL databases, and everyone moved to document database, and some is very successful, but others not so much. I think it's the same story regarding to trade offs, and now we have someone mentioned about AI here, right? Using AI on our day to day, and I think it was Simandri here. He,
He
yeah, go
mentioned
ahead.
that he could use that. AI is good. Let's say Java, we were talking about the 30 years of Java. If you wanna understand or learn about new features or new resources of the language itself, if you have questions about how to implement something that it's very syntax related, but you have a clear picture of what needs to be done, AI will help you, and probably it will generate almost ready code. Of course, you need to test, to validate, and to know if that's doing what it's expected to do and to fix it. So it's much easier these days if compared to 15 years before, for the language evolutions or for having these assistants. So for a programmer, it's even what would say mandatory these days, right? What do you
Yep.
guys think?
I don't know if well, I will add my take here.
Yes.
I also want to comment here, Andres. You're not monopolizing conversation. I think you did a great job here sharing about microservices. I think it is one of the most hot topics to talk about, especially when we are talking about 30 years of Java, and nowadays we have lots of solutions over that was implemented in this architecture. And going back to AI, Simandri, um, what I think about using AI for, I don't know, you're probably it is a interview process, maybe. So you're going through this interview, and uh, whatever, if you know what you're doing, if you are able to solve the problem that your contractor, the company that is looking after you, uh, using AI or not, I think doesn't matter so much. If you use AI, actually, you are more. I believe that anyone that are able to use AI but know how to use it. It's not just I ask AI to solve it, but I don't have any idea what it's doing and just delivering. That's not solving the problem. That's creating more problems. But if you understand what is doing, if you do it, if you use it effectively, and to make you more productive, then you are a valuable professional in the company. And make sure to that you are really able to explain what was going behind the scenes, what AI wrote for you. So then I think it's totally valuable. And of course, and also the company itself already allowed it. So I think the best you can do is with AI. What is the best you can do with AI? What is the best solution you can bring? And of course, that's not just having the solution itself. You have to explain it. I believe that someone later on this interview will ask you questions, and we'll hope that you expect that you know what's going on behind the scenes. So I think that's the only thing I believe it's the important thing. You have to understand what's doing on, what is doing, what is how it's working. I think that's the any professional developer should be worried about it. Anything that we create, we are responsible on what we are delivering. So if you can't explain it, doing by yourself or doing with AI. If you can't explain it, that's a bad sign of professionalism, right? So I think that's the only thing I would be worried about. I don't know. I will open
Yeah,
for anyone here. Yeah, go
yes,
ahead.
and if you are facing any challenge regarding to this task, please share here if you can, of course. So maybe you can share you some things that you can maybe go around and study a little bit, or try to ask AI for these kind of things, because it seems maybe that you don't have a clear path and you are going to AI. And this is like you said, AI, it's not very good to give you the right path if you do not know the path. If you know the path, okay, AI can help a lot. Otherwise, it will probably direct you to the wrong path. And because you don't know what is the path, you think this path is the right one, and then it will be too late. You have more problems.
Yeah, what I can see, especially with the AI trend, is that companies are looking for problem solvers. And during the interview process, I would say during a live call with an interview, I would not recommend you to use AI to be querying, not at all, because he doesn't want to know if you know using AI. He doesn't want to know how you can solve the problems that he proposes, he or she, the interview. So knowing to use the tools is a thing, but knowing to solve problems, real problems, that's your thing. You can use AI to train and to enhance yourself to get prepared for the market, for interviews, and to learn, but not on an interview itself. But AI will not, let's say, uh, AI will not teach you how to solve problems, or will not solve every problem for you specifically. Because, oh, yeah, let's put an example. I want to solve problem X of my framework. My application is buggy, and you just paste it the stack trace there without any context. If you have no idea what it is, it will just generate a random answer that will probably not work at all. But especially on interviews, and for the job market itself, become a problem solver. getting problems, learn how to solve them, and that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you, Igor. If you're in an interview, please do not use these kind of things because this is a no-go. This is totally okay. It's a really bad thing
Yeah.
because if you don't know and you share, maybe the interviewer can help you, like I don't know, to guide you or something like that. If you use AI,
No,
you are not.
you're out.
Yes, you're out. Yeah,
And
it's not
Andres
allowed.
mentioned it here, yeah. The only thing he would worry is about using AI when they ask to not use AI. So I think you shouldn't use it, of course. And then otherwise, I think same thing here. You have to be on the driving seat. I think that's very true here. We really, 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 we can, if you just let it ride and just send the, of course, if you're doing your own project at your own, you're just experimenting things, oh good. But when you're talking about professional code, things that you are delivering, and you are then it is a service that uh, you are giving, that someone is paying you for. So the least thing you should do is to know what you are delivering them.
Yeah, you just mentioned a great example, Hugo. Have you ever drove a car that has all of those automatic systems? It
No, not
just
yet.
does the
I,
steering, following there, but from times to times, you need to put your hand on the steering wheel to say tell the car, "Hey, I'm here. I'm watching it. I'm here. You're doing a great job, but I'm following what you're doing." And if you don't put your hand on the steering wheel, it starts to make a lot of noise and it will disable this autopilot. It's kind of the same thing here. You just need to know what to do, what you're doing, which tools you are using. AI is a tool. AI, otherwise, it would replace us completely. So you will not get paid for just querying AI and posting and pasting the code there, because that's just a replacement. So that's why you need to know what you're doing, what you're solving, and your company also needs to know what are you providing to them, what are they earning with you with them. This is what I see.
I love that Luis shared here what we have been talking about so far. So microservices are for scaling team, not the application, and AI is good if you know the path. Uh,
This
and I
is
see, yeah.
Luis LLM or
Luis
Luis
LLM.
LLM.
No, this is the hell, the true Luis, Luis
Yeah.
hell.
I'm real.
And Nathan, just throw back the question for us. So, what is the biggest challenge that you guys have been dealing with, and how do you act over it to solve those challenges? Anyone would
Yeah,
like to start? Go
yeah,
ahead.
but maybe before we go into this question, just because Andres shared above one thing that, yeah, we are correct. He prefers challenge regarding to code and challenge regarding to microservices. So maybe one tip, Andres, maybe you can try to figure out what is the core, because usually there will be always a core application. This can be maybe the biggest application, or even some libraries, because think that you have 100 microservices, there will be one common things between them. These always exist, and maybe there is a library that do this kind of things, or maybe this there is it is missing this library, and there are many duplicated codes between them. So maybe you can try to go to this path. So maybe there is a source project that you can contribute with regarding to this kind of libraries. and then you can maybe start working with this kind of uh, good code, let's say that, or challenge codes. Okay, it's that. Maybe we can go back to Nathan question.
Yeah, I would answer Nathan with mine very shortly. Legacy and Node Nightmare code, that spaghetti code that you need a lot of hours, even days to figure out a single slight little change. And you just say, I don't want ever to work with that again. I needed, I remember one, I needed to run locally a monolith of a very big famous chain. I will not mention which one here from Brazil locally. That I needed 10 gigs of Docker image just to put it up locally. And it took around 10 minutes with a good machine, a Core i5, to run it, just to test it. So every time you need to test it, I needed to go through that painful process. Even with a good machine, probably it would take around 5 minutes to go up. So that was a insanely huge monolith, and they were using so old frameworks with XML everywhere. And it was on the back then MVC that you have all your model view and controller all together, back end and front end on a monolith, and you needed to change both, and they were binded. Truly nightmare, something that we hopefully will never ever see again. And if you see a project, a challenging project like this, run away, run for miles away. There are lots of great challenges in today's markets. It would be much better to to solve other kinds of challenges. Unless you have no choice, you just solve that one. That's what I did back then. I solved that one for a little while, then moved back to microservice that I enjoyed much more than these monolith changes. And then I'm working with microservices since then. And now let's bring AI to the party. AI is everywhere right now, right?
Cool, cool. I hope your contractor not watching this episode.
No, no, that was a very long time ago,
Ah,
many
very long time
years.
ago. Okay.
Yeah, we are not bringing new stuff here.
Okay. Nathan said that he have been working with legacy code and can really relate to this. Okay,
Yeah.
good, good. So you can ask lots of questions. Igor have a lot of experience on that field. Then, um, so Arthur is also mentioning here that's what was happening in the company I work for, and the reason they went the microservices way. But now the microservice lasts more than 1 minute to start in the local and anyway. Okay. Also, yeah, that's probably some other things could be could be done, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. I was talking here, so things that challenges that I'm facing right now, it's more regarding to how can I say this training and preparing my team with this whole AI stuffs, AI new things, and be and make my team as a whole more prepared to this kind of demand. It's some of the challenges I'm facing, and also since there's a lot of demand coming on, have to manage better my agenda to focus on what is more important. And sometimes, yeah, it's difficult to have lots of things, and they conflict on the priorities. Yeah, that has been my biggest challenges right now, to be more yeah, to put all in the agenda and without dropping the things. Yeah.
I want to discuss my biggest challenge right now.
Cool.
So I'm working on a big project, legacy code, and we have lots of tasks of like maintenance tasks, and I also have like tasks with um, to code new features. So I have to do new features. I have to do maintenance, and sometimes when I'm trying to code new features, uh, lots of new tasks about maintenance that I need to do right away. So I have to stop the new feature and give some attention to the maintenance tasks, right? So what I usually do, we have a weekly meeting every Monday, and I discuss with the team what are the priorities, so I can like prepare myself for that week and try to tackle most of the issues right away. So I can after I tackle all the maintenance tasks, I can focus on the new feature again. For me, it's very very bad to try to write a new feature, and at the same time people sending you messages and we have a problem, we need to fix this right away. So I usually focus on the maintenance, and then afterwards I come back to the new feature.
That's the word, Luis. Focus.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's a myth of the multitasking. Probably everyone heard about it. Oh, I'm multitasking. No, you're not multitasking. You're just not paying attention. No one can multitasking. You're a human being is not able to multitasking. Not even a computer is able to multitasking. Just think about a single thread computer. It works a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. We are not able. We are single threads. So that you're
We are not
doing,
GPUs.
yeah, you're doing right, Luis. If you need to focus on something and there's tons of messages, if you pay attention to those messages at the same time you try to solve something, you will get out of your focus and we're not able to solve any of them. So
Yeah,
well done.
my biggest problem is to convince my boss that I'm single thread.
Yeah.
Joking.
You need to convince him.
Go ahead, Chile. Do you wanna share?
Yes, among other, you mentioned some of my challenges as well. So legacy code is one of the challenges, and also setting the right priorities, because usually I am working on several projects at the same time, and each project is the highest priority for those stakeholders. And then to figure out what is the best priority, because it's impossible to do everything at the same time, and figure out what's the right priority that is at the end you make the less harm possible. So you understand it's difficult to explain, but you want to do the best thing that it's best for everyone, but you can only do one thing at a time. So setting those kind of priorities is somehow sometimes challenging, because it's also meaning dealing with people, convincing people, or having those kind of discussions. And this is one of my challenges.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there's where
totally.
the soft skills comes in, right, Sila?
Yes,
Because when
too.
everything is a priority, nothing is a priority, and then
Mm.
you try to help everyone, but you get mad at it. So what is a priority? And then you just mention how you handle that, and
Yes, and
Negoti- this
also,
negotiation skills. That's key.
yes, one of the things is negotiate discussions and really blocking time in my calendar. Now I am focusing on this task, so it is visible for everyone, and I try to concentrate myself for on that task, that time. That helps too for me.
Absolutely. Tiago?
Yeah, I totally agree with Chila. I do also have this kind of challenge because sometimes I don't know. I have like three messages for three different peoples asking for help, and I have one task to do, and then I have to manage. Okay, what should I do? Should I keep doing my task or should I help? Who should I help first? And then we need to understand the big picture. Like, okay, what is the priority? Maybe three people ask for help, but one of them, it's like one thing that has no priority. It's like one small thing that I don't know, maybe I can postpone. It's not urgent. However, there is one that it's someone that's stuck that waste 2 days and don't know how to do or something like that. So deal with this kind of thing. It's a big challenge. It's not easy. So yeah, I do agree with Chile. And what I do, not only that, to help with this kind of situation is I try to, like I share here with Andres, try to create libraries and things or evolve libraries to do the most hard things so that people can concentrate on only the business case, only a specific thing related with code. So I try to do this kind of things and also documentation. I think usually technical documentation helps a lot. So usually someone have a problem and some days in the future someone else will have the same problem, so then we can share this kind of link, this documentation, this step guide, and this helps a lot because I do not need to do over the same thing and lost a lot of time. And I have another challenge, but it's not that it's a challenge that I will be able to solve. However, I want to bring this challenge. I don't know. I think no one here will be able to solve, but I would like to have a solution for that. I don't know if anyone knows here or in the chat. If you know, please share with me. It's documentation for developers. I think most of the case we follow some documentation. There are some team that create a documentation and say what we should do, what we should create. So there is a technical documentation or some documentation that it's created uh, with a conversation with the client. And in my opinion, this documentation should be really helpful regarding to AI. So I would like to use AI to put this documentation like a PDF file or whatever, and the AI will be able to solve everything. Like, okay, I will be able to ask AI, I will be able to say, oh, AI, I create this class. Can you check it out if these business rules match with this thing? And then the AI do this kind of thing. I would be very happy if there is something related with that. I don't know if anyone knows, but I would
Yeah,
like to.
I can think about something related with retrieve augmented reality.
Generation, right?
Generation, yeah, retrieval augmented generation.
But
You just insert the context on that.
yeah, but the problem is the documentation should be well defined, so the RAG and the AI model will be able to read it and give good answers about it. This is a challenge, a problem for me. Like having a well structured documentation that AI will be able to understand it very well. Because if you only have a PDF with many data inside it and you throw it to the AI, forget. You not have a good
No,
output. It will
you
not.
need to teach the AI what is inside of that, providing metadata
But
and all the stuff, so it can translate it into vector database or something. You just mentioned, Tiago, about documentation, since you mentioned, and talking about AI. I've been playing a lot with the Spring AI these last days, and I found, I will not say a bug, but I found the Spring AI documentation related vector databases is outdated. So you just mentioned, and if you go and do documentation that helps out other people, you will you these people will avoid going through what you needed to go. So uh, the Spring team just splitted several packages from the Spring AI core into separated projects very recently, a month ago, I believe it was, from what I could see on the code base. But the documentation is outdated. It's not updated. So the examples that you have there for implementation, they just say to import the Spring AI core and not the separated models. So here is an opportunity for the one that I've changed. I'm submitting change for the documentation to help others to avoid going through what I needed to. I spent some hours digging and looking for the commits where these package go. The vector database is not in the core AI anymore. Oh, it's not in this project. They move it, and I found today the changing notes. It's only on the changing notes. It's not on the documentation. So helping that, updating that documentation even on your enterprise and on public as well is a kind of helping with an open source project like Spring in that case. And you guys mentioned about dealing with priorities. I believe Hugo has a story with that, right, Hugo? I remember a story from you that your I believe it was on your company. I don't know how long ago it was that they asked you to do a urgent task during the weekend. Do you remember that?
yes, I remember that. I'm not sure if it is exactly the thing that I remember, but yeah, I had this. Uh, I also thought that it will take. I think it will take 2 days to have it done. Okay, can you deliver it tomorrow? I just mentioned it. It will take 2 days. But yeah, that was fun stuff that we have on the work, right? But yeah, it's prioritizing. It's very important. I think too. It's and it's challenging because sometimes it's not the you have to balance. It's the same exercise with trade-off. You have to trade off to fit the priority, to fit what will be putting first or doing first. And yeah, I think I'm suffering the same thing when I have challenges with agenda. Andres mentioned it to use ChatGPT for agenda. Unfortunately, I can't use I can't share my agenda with ChatGPT. I have to find some way to use approved, compliant LLMs here at my company. Uh, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone had experience with sharing ChatGPT to manage your agenda. I don't know how good it is nowadays. Probably very interesting. I just remember here. I see Antonio Marcos from Belarus, and now I understand he is the one of the guys that work with me. So hello. Now I got that you are the Antonio Marcos. I haven't connected the things here. Um, uh, and one thing I would like to mention about the challenge, Thiago challenge about AI, I think using AI for some validations inside your while you are developing your code, I think remembers me a lot when Pedro came here and talked about the enterprise vibe coding. So we know vibe coding. We do just ask for some stuff and let the AI write a whole thing. And of course, if we do use something similar in our production environment or production code, don't have to be production, right? On your own day-to-day code, you will have to fix a lot of things. You have to enforce your patterns, some standards that you follow or the company, the teams follow, and that's not very good. But once you have these instructions already well defined, you know the standards that your company, and usually we don't have it well defined. Usually we do let the organic mind to follow things and understand from nowhere, just seeing the code. But when we have it, we start to become more productive. I'm actually one of the things that I'm doing right now on the team. It's to define this document to help my team follow the same patterns. And I have a challenge here because we don't have the same stack for every customer, every project. So we have a lot of different stacks. Well, we are trying to do the MVP and see how it behaves. Because same thing, I believe that it's a good anyway. If it doesn't work, in the end, at least we have a document to say, oh, we are following these ideas. We are trying to follow these things. Once we have it very clear and explicit, I believe it's already a very good artifact to have in the company, in the team. So we don't just rely on someone teaching the junior how we do things here inside. There's a document, a cool document that will have all the details. Once you have that, I think you start to have this effect of the agent being able to check your code and see and check if it's following. Um, and yeah, I think that's a way to solve your problem. One thing that also I'm thinking, and I would like, actually, I don't know if it solves, right, Thiago, but I think it's interesting to try it out. I think most of things right now is try out if agent is able to solve it or not. But documentation also interesting because people are starting to say that, okay, with AI, with these models, I actually, instead of having a static documentation, we can always generate dynamic documentation. I think true and not true, because it can generate things differently every time it does generate, but also maybe interesting way to actually keep it really updated. I think it's challenging to keep documentation updated. People just change things on the code and forget what is on the documentation. Even those business documentation, right? It's only on the very beginning to understand, but then forget it. On
Yeah,
the
even
yeah, go ahead.
even on big projects, it's challenging to keep documentation updated. And if I was mentioned the Spring, they did change a lot of things. The documentation of Spring is huge, and it has a lot of contributors, but you do have lots of things that needs to be updated there, especially if it's a new project like Spring AI. But the good thing is that the project itself is getting better and better, and that's great. And that's also an opportunity for who wants to contribute to that project, like me. So you have a wind of opportunity to start contributing, even if that's on small things like documentation that, like Tiago mentioned, helps a lot other developers to skip or to avoid the hours that I needed to expend to figure out that they have separated the projects. So,
Cool stuff.
challenges.
Yeah,
Your biggest challenge? Development is a challenge. Welcome, guys, to this world of challenges and headaches and nightmare. This is your word now.
During the interview, I think it's very common to hear that, right?
Yeah.
From both sides. Why are you moving to another company? Where I'm looking for a new challenge or a big challenge, and the same happen
Yeah.
the opposite
You will
side.
find challenges.
Yes, here in the company
Some
there are big challenges, awesome challenges. You like it?
there
Yeah,
are also some challenges and shitty challenges, but there will
yeah,
be always challenges. You
yes,
just need
it's
to find out the one that empowers you the most.
yes, challenge everywhere.
so I think we exceeded actually the time. I think we when talk about our stories, we get a lot excited to talk about it. There's lots of things to share, and I enjoyed a lot. I talked too
Yeah,
much, I think,
me too.
but I enjoy a lot to hear also your stories and also the people from the chat. I do appreciate everyone that shared with your challenges here, and and yeah, just to remember, this week, I just want to remember this week is still is the week of when Java make 30 years, turns 30 years. So here in So Java, the largest community, Java community in Brazil, and probably in the world. I don't know the exact numbers, but I heard it before. And Karina Varela from Brasilia, she's running a celebration week because of the 30 years of Java. So if you are interested to keep following all the topics regarding to this to Java, this week would be amazing. I shared the link here on the chat. If you would like to follow, it is the link from the meetup, and there's all the event that will be running the whole week okay, now we are already on Tuesday, so from today to Friday till Friday. So yep, keep an eye on that, and yeah, I hope you also are able to enjoy the conversation, and yeah, I hope to see you next week. Anyone would like to say last words? Go ahead.
Yes, if you still have challenge regarding to Java new features, keep on track on this event. There will be amazing guests, many Java champions, and also Luis here will be sharing a lot of new features in Java on Thursday, if I'm not wrong, right?
Thursday, yes,
Thursday, yeah.
10 a.m. Brazilian time, I
Yeah.
think. Let me
Oh,
check here.
Oh
In the
man.
morning? In the morning, Luis? 10 a.m.?
Yes, 10 a.m. in the morning,
Mhm.
BRT, Brazilian time.
yeah, in this last link that we shared here, you can see the schedule and yeah, everything
You have
that's
the
Yeah.
going
whole
to
agenda there.
the whole
Yeah,
agenda.
I shared the meetup event, but this one is way better. So follow the last link Thiago shared here. Uh,
Mhm.
so for just to give you some how can I say some how do I say when we do share something before it happens. I don't remember, but yeah, just to share you the agenda, quickly share the agenda here. We have share screen, share window. Where are you here? Okay,
And of course, if you want to check the past talks, Thiago had a talk today, right, Thiago? And we had other talks with Java champions and professionals, other professionals from the industry. Great talks, by the way.
Yeah, I see a lot of great names here. So today already finished, but we have from tomorrow to Wednesday, right? Tomorrow, yeah. RAG and tools developers with LangChain 4J, Java AI agents with Professor Isidro. I'm not sure who's here talking about Eric Dendria, Java champion here. I see lots of Java champions here. Professor Isidro will be talking about Java AI agents easier than you think. Lina Yurenko will be on the event also, talking about Grow VM in production. Elder Moraes, mastering Java concurrency, performance patterns, and performance engineering for massive scale, and observability with cloud native with Quarkus, with Rafael Benevides. Yeah, he's from the Red Hat. So many. Oh, and next one on Thursday we're gonna have Luis. Yeah, good to have you here, Luis. We're gonna talk about 30 years of innovations. That's great. So we're gonna follow lots of things here. Don't miss a lot of awesome people talking on the event. We just met Juarez. It was with us yesterday on the meetup in person. So awesome people here to bring in lots of interesting topics.
And you can
Okay.
watch the recording on the Soul Java channel, even the Tiago's presentation from today, right, Tiago?
Yes,
Yeah.
me and others. There are many good
Absolutely.
talks, so yeah, enjoy it. It's for
Oh,
free and it's available on Soul Java channel.
awesome job.
Awesome.
Awesome job. Awesome job from Karina Varela and Otávio Santana. Yep. So I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed the session and see you next session.
Take care, guys. See you.
Thank
See
you,
you.
everyone. See you.
Like,
Bye.
Bye.